something for us all to Google tomorrow, I guess. I just want to talk about the innovation and the systems that we developed and how we went about, I guess, coming about what we're now producing, and producing, I think, very well. We do a lot of work around OH&S, as everyone does this time and date, and we looked at the hierarchy of controls. And for those who know the hierarchy of controls, it's all about, you know, how we control hazards and stuff like that. And we adapted the same philosophy for the work that we approach. And I'm going to show you a little exercise about what sort of things we can do to sort of, well, number one of the hierarchy controls is eliminate. I've got 3 kids at home, so I've read into a bit of their stuff. So Wayne spoke about specification and hitting the specification, which is pretty easy if it comes to your shop and the environment's all good and all we're going to do is sort of throw a ball into the ring. Relatively easy. But as you've seen how the wind's just picked up perfectly for me, and we've got other things to contend with out here on the wharves. We have tides, so now if you try to throw the ball into the hoop whilst you've got tides going up and down, it's a lot harder to get the ball in. Okay, and then we throw into the other scenarios, the shipping. So we got ships coming in and they take right away. So whether it be that we have to call the work off for that day, or move different positions, or get to different aspects of the war face. We need to move our cages, move our access, and that's not always easy. Most of the time, you've probably got about a 6-hour window between tides, good tides. And if you don't get the right environmental parameters, as a lot of the inspectors know out here today, you've got no zone. To get those apexes and axes to align has been one of our hardest challenges. So what we did, we went to the hierarchy controls and we eliminated the tidal movements by putting these cages into place, which allowed Roy and my very proud team to be able to hit the target a whole lot easier. We also eliminated bits and pieces of the shipping movements by being standalone, but also underneath the capping beam. So we tucked in under the capping beam where the ship, as long as it stays stationary, can't really get us. There's no hazards there for us really, apart from the loading and unloading of the mobile cranes. But once the ship's positioned, we can go along and do our work and open up that window that we need in the environmental parameters to hit the target, hit the specification, as Wayne said. We've used different methods, as Wayne touched on. We've used a pleated section and a wall platform, fully engineered wall platform, certified welders, all totally OH&S savvy. Not without its hurdles. So there's obviously other implications on a wharf face, salt spray up onto the surface, all those other parameters that we have to deal with. We've got a lot of pride in our work, and that does stem through into our staff. We've done a lot of work. I actually live on this peninsula at Osborne at the moment and have a lot of pride in what happens down this way. If you can look back to downstairs when we were watching those beautiful photography pictures of those dolphins and those, that surroundings that we can see down here. If you step outside the parameters of what the EPA regulates, you've got some of the most highly powerful cameras in this area to catch you as you're doing it. So these methods that we're adapting and offering to our client Flinders Ports is being well embraced by Flinders Ports. We're using 20,000 CFM dust collectors to extract dust from a cage on 29. Our cages on 29 were engineered through our engineering division. Me and Lindsay came up with an idea of how we were going to access this 29 wharf, and the biggest obstacle was sort of being able to chase the tide down. We had to do 4.5 metres down on that wharf face, which is quite a long area to reach. It's 2 body heights and a bit more. So to chase that tide down and chase that tide back up, we had to try to open up the parameters somehow. So we utilised a mobile cage that would connect at the top capping beam, and it would have 4 guides, and it would have a chain lock between the 2 subsections. So if the operator inside the cage wanted to lower himself down the wall face, he could just get on the chain lock and lower himself down. And then as the tide started coming up, he could raise himself up with the chain block up the face of the wall. Opening up these parameters allowed operational work hours of 6 to 8 hour days, which makes it economical for us to actually do our job. I just want to sort of touch on the pride that we have in our company. We're sort of a couple of businesses rolled into one. There was a question that came up before about AFL services and how it came about, and we've got a lot of our technical knowledge and our technical know-how from the Defence Force and the Army, Joint Logistics Unit, BAE Systems, Saab, those sort of guys, very technically spec'd paintwork, and we started out doing land vehicles, camo patterns on land vehicles, and we still do today. We've got 3 in our yard at the moment. So that's where the AFL name comes from, Auto Fleet Logistics, and that's how we started out. We now have... His first name's Vaughan. So yeah, we had a couple of companies along the way, 3 companies along the way. One which was mine, Amatec Cleaning Australia. Another one called Integral Concrete and Grouting, which allowed us to have another spin-off of our company. So if there's, well, at the moment we're doing some concrete buns for Heathgate Resources, which have a uranium mine in Beverley, in the middle of Australia. And we can go down there, we can repair their concrete, we can put some resin in, where resin needs to go, we can crack inject, we can do whatever we need to do on the concrete repairs, and then we can line the bun to make sure that the asset's protected as well. So we're a bit of a one-stop shop for repairs as well as coating prevention. But back to the pride again, we try to encourage our lower tier workers to have the same pride as what is happening at the top. Me and Lindsay and Greg are all past business owners. We also have a lot of other staff that have run their own businesses, and they've really got that same adaptation of pride in their work. And with that pride, we know that we can sort of have faith in the guys that are out there on the front for us, because me and Lindsay don't go into every job, we can't be at every job. So you have to make sure that the branches of your business are going to do the right thing that's in the best interest of your business. One of the hardest things that I've found is to manage. When I did the Defence Industry Leadership Program, one of the hardest things was to manage when you're not there. How do you do that? We set up systems in place, and the paperwork and the back end paperwork that needs to be done and filled out for our guys is part of a system. So they know toolbox meetings come first. At the end of the day, they need to justify what they've done for the day. We need to have hours to reflect, and we need to have the QA and all of the components together before knock-off. So once we set up those systems, it was just a roll on from there. Everyone knows the system. There's paperwork to give them prompts. There's paperwork to help them to achieve what they need to achieve, and it just makes sure that what gets handed back to us at the end of the day to pass on to our client is very thorough and it's effective. And I guess the proof is in the longevity of our work. Thanks again for having me, and hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say. Cheers.